So in this video, I wanted to do a quick run through of Rotring's drafting pencils. So it's basically the Rotring 300, Rotring 500, Rotring 600, and then I'll talk about the 800, but I only have the 800 in a pen. So I don't have the 800 pencil, but they do make an 800 pencil. So first of all, Rotring 300. This is the entry level Rotring in this sort of class of mechanical pencil. There might be others, but 300, 500, 600 are the sort of key ones. Then there's the 800, sort of the luxury model, whatever. This one goes for about $9, we'll call it, for the 300. The 500, call it $12, maybe 11, something like that. The 600, maybe $20, give or take, a little bit more, a little bit less. And then the 800 in a pencil will be about $30. So pretty good range from 10 up to 30, about 3x. And obviously they're all mechanical pencils and they have a very similar design. So why you're spending more on something like the 800 or the 600 when you can get a 500 or 300 for much less. And aesthetically, obviously they're quite close. First of all, the main difference, we'll get through this just right off the bat, is materials. The 300 is almost entirely plastic. You could see the knurling here is plastic. The body is plastic. It's extremely light. It has a hardness indicator here, which is a nice touch, but all plastic. The clip is metal, but everything else in the pen, aside from some hardware down at the end, is plastic. The 500 is mostly plastic, but it moves to the metal knurling. So the part that's actually touching your hand is metal, and then you have a metal clip. And the clip is in this sort of frosted or this paint style that the 600 series is sort of known for. Moving to the 600, now we have metal grip, metal body, metal clip, and a metal hardness indicator. Metal button. So basically we're moving to a full metal pen, or pencil rather. The 800, again, this is the pen, but the 800 moves to the gold, and the it has an extension piece here. You'll see that the drafting tip there, the pipe, or whatever you want to call it, is fixed in the 600. In the 800, it's like a double knock style where it's actually hidden. The 800, just for reference, used to be called, if you want to buy the original, used to be called the 600G. It was just called the 600. Nowadays, people call it the 600G for gold. So if you are looking for a classic, then you are looking for the 600G or the old 600. Each of these is a new release made in Japan. I think they're all under 2 years old, we'll call it. If you are looking for a video about the classic 600, I did a video maybe a year or two ago about the 600 in 0.9 millimeter, which is no longer made, I believe. So let's run through the weights so we can get a feel for just how different they are. The scale here, very sensitive, 1/10 of a gram. We'll start off with the 300, and they're all loaded with the same amount of lead. Not that it would really make a difference, but they are loaded. 8.4 for the 300. 500. 13. So notable difference, extra 5 grams. Moving to the 600. 22 grams, so it's an extra 8 grams. So almost 3 times the weight of the 300 when we move to this entirely brass body. I won't weigh the 800 because that wouldn't have any weight gain really over the 600, which is all brass. Again, it doesn't really matter. The mechanism is a little bit more complex, but don't factor that in. So basically, the range is, this is the 500. It's right in the middle, 13. Top end, 23. Bottom end, 8. So noticeable difference. And that, maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. That's just your personal preference. The better pen isn't always, or better pencil isn't always the heaviest. You could prefer a lighter pencil. But what we do know is more metal means more solid. It'll probably last longer. You can take a drop better. again, if you drop it on the pipe, then you're gonna have to replace that component, and they do sell replacement front ends, but you know, the front end notwithstanding, the ruggedness of the pencil is going to improve as you get to a more metal product. And you know, the 300 is light. It feels like you're not really holding anything, which isn't always the most satisfying writing experience. As far as the top pieces, you can see this one has a little hole at the top, a little indicator for your eraser. Here, now we're moving over from glossy plastic to, I believe this is a coated metal, still with the indicator hole, same eraser style. Moving here, again, still the indicator hole, but we move to, I believe those parts are probably similar. Yeah, no, it's the same part, so that's good. So plastic, metal, metal. As far as the indicators go, plastic, metal, metal. Clips, cheap stamped clip, really nice clips on the 500 and 600. So there's a difference there. Now we will open them up. And maybe this one doesn't open. That may be one of the differences with the 300, that this one does not come apart. Definitely does not want to come apart easily. Yeah, that may be a single piece. Maybe that was one of the difference with a 300. I gotta find my notes sheet, but this may not be a serviceable pencil. With the 500, this one, now we can service this. So take it apart, and we can see brass hardware, plastic inside. Pretty simple. And this piece, these two pieces are single because this is all plastic, so you'd make it out of a single piece. We do have that metal front end, and again, this is replaceable if you do bend that pipe. That way you're not out all $12 or whatever. You could replace the pipe. I don't think it'll be really worth it, as these pipes tend not to be that cheap, but it is something that you can do. And I don't think this is serviceable. Like, I don't know that you could take this apart any further than this. With the 500, we'll open it up. You could see now we have the metal body here, metal threading, metal shaft, and then this piece will remove as well. So now we have a fully serviceable pen. Any of these parts, I don't know if Rotring sells replacement parts for this stuff, but it would be easy enough to take this part and fix any sort of jams where that wouldn't always be possible without a pencil that came apart so easily. I think it doesn't actually screw in, it just holds in there. Yeah. Gotta do that in order. So the 600, again, fully user serviceable, really nicely put together, and you're gonna sacrifice some of that with the less expensive pencils. As far as actual writing experience goes, I tend to grab the 600 because I like the weight. The 300 to me is too light. It feels extremely flimsy in my hands. The click works, and it's not like the click is really noticeably better or worse on any of them. The feel is much more solid on the 600, but the action is essentially the same. Sounds are a little bit different, but I think that's more just because the 600 has so much metal that it mutes the sound. The actual feel and function is really no different as you up or downgrade from one to the other. A little bit hard to do. This does have sort of a light feel to it. And you kind of get the impression that the 300 is not going to last you that long. It's definitely not in the same class as like a Kuratoga or something like that. Like, I tend to prefer those at the 300 range. At the 500, I'm into a more solid feeling pen or pencil. This is like, I like the lighter back end and the heavier front. That's a good feel to me, whereas it being entirely plastic is just too light. So again, and I don't have the 800, but really I'm not that into the 800s. They're kind of luxury models of the 600 series, especially in the pencil. And the pen is a little different because you do have this exposed pipe, and that could be annoying. It could kind of jab you, or it could break off. So the 800 pencil makes more sense to me than 800 pen, but I think the 600 pen is really a nice way to go, and I'll save you some cash. But to me, the best of the bunch is actually the 500 pencil. This thing at $11, $12 will get you most of the nice features of the 600, and you'll save a fair bit of money. So I think, bang for your buck, this is really nice. And I actually tend to prefer the metal and plastic feeling. You get the nice light body, but you still get the metal hardware at the top, the nicer clip, and then the metal grip is really what you want. The metal barrel, I don't know, it's nice to have, but it's not really a big deal. So I think that pretty much covers it. Highly recommend the Rotring 500 pencil. Thanks for watching.